Hey guys, Christian Caldwell back from CCR. Today I'm going to be focusing on my shoulder routine and I'm going to share with you my favorite exercise, the side raise. Now, first and foremost, I think weight selection is really important or paramount. You want to be able to choose a weight that you're maxing out at around 12 to 15, even 20 reps, but with control. So that is being able to isolate the medial head without incorporating other body parts. So it's really important that weight selection is the first consideration. Secondly to that, definitely posture. So scapula back and down, locking the shoulder blades in place to allow pure isolation of the medial head. Second to that is also the position of the elbow in relation to the weight and the shoulder. We don't want to dip the elbows. A lot of people, as they struggle through the set, tend to dip their elbows a little bit and they end up showing the underside of their arm in the reflection of the mirror. That's a cue or a key point to actually try to internally rotate your elbow or your humerus so that your elbow is nice and high, therefore accenting the medial head. So if you'll notice, if I drop my elbow by externally rotating, I actually start to emphasize anterior head, which is what we don't want. So first and foremost, bring up the elbow and you'll see that the medial head pops. That's all we're trying to do, is isolate medial head. So I'm going to get stuck straight into it. I've chosen a weight that's going to sort of allow me to hit 20 reps. And if it just so happens to get a little easy for you, a great way to progressively overload week to week is not by increasing the load, but by actually increasing the time under tension. So you could actually hold an isometric contraction for a split second at the top of each rep, and that exponentially makes the set harder. So if I try that while locking everything in place and keeping my elbow elevated, I'm really hitting that medial head fast, and that time under tension, just by holding for a second, I'm actually increasing that time by about 20 seconds over 20 reps. It becomes a lot harder to complete that set. Again, do's and don'ts, or in this case, don'ts. We don't want to shrug. So we want to keep traps out of it. We don't want to see this, high shoulders. We don't want the elbows to creep behind. We certainly don't want to swing through the torso. We want to keep everything isolated, which is very hard. I've lost track of my reps, but I'm already reaching the end. So if that's the case, then rather than incorporating everything else or cheating, just do partial reps until you're absolutely gone. So going back to a full rep, keeping the elbow up until I start failing, and I'm cooked. That's one set. That is one set, and I'm already spent. So work sets, 3 to 4. How do I progressively overload week after week after week? Not necessarily by increasing the load. Remember, being in isolation and targeting a small muscle group, volume, high volume and lower loads, I'm gassed. Higher volume and lower loads are definitely the best way to go about hitting small muscle groups or isolations. So if you found that really handy, stay tuned, because the next exercise is going to be the posterior head, which is even harder to isolate, and I think you'll find this really valuable.